We got a bit of a glare. I've got it streaming. Does it say that we're live or anything like that?
Live. Ted Depp says live. Oh.
Is it on? I just went ahead and started it. If it's You're good. We're just chilling. It's not 3 o'clock yet. It's 3 o'clock. It's 3 o'clock somewhere. He's special. It's actually a one-off. So, okay. All right. We're on. Everything's on. Great. Sweet. All right. See you. Bye. All right. All right. If I could come to the regular Aces fuel injection. Start with episode 69 and go from there, I think. Maybe, possibly. I get weird ads. Great.
Get a Phytech ad on there?
No. No.
Yeah.
Definitely not. Okay. All right. It's not 3 o'clock. It's before 3 o'clock. But we're here anyway. We've got this on. You're on.
Are we on?
I think we're on. My mic's on. Your mic's on.
Yeah.
We've got the live chat. It's unmuted now. Alex was saying that we took off the sound. I did because I had to re-meet with Tim real quick about what we were going to do. But it's not 3 o'clock. But it's before 3 o'clock because I felt it necessary to make sure we got everything dialed in beforehand.
True.
No, for real.
Welcome to another live Tech Tuesday.
Yeah.
We're in here doing it for the people like we like to do. We don't just say the words, we live them here.
We do.
So, all the way around the block, we're going to answer some questions from the live stream. We're going to answer some questions from previous videos. And we're going to answer some questions from that one we did on the scene at that Pro Touring Truck Shootout, which it was the finest opportunity. I got to talk to people about trucks, and I got to talk to people about other trucks and a whole lot of different systems.
And his Tahoe. He had his Tahoe there.
And my Tahoe gathered
that was
a
the
crowd.
whole thing. So, no, he's exactly right. We're back for another Tech Tuesday episode. We are going to first run through as many of these questions really quickly.
We're going to burn them down.
From the other Tech Tuesdays. And then as you have questions, I can already see some coming through the live chat. We'll go back and forth from there, but I want to make sure people feel like they are heard. Right? So that's the whole point of doing this. So thank you all for dropping in early. I know it's 3 o'clock. We had a showing of our new building because we're moving to Chattanooga, more closer to Chattanooga. Way bigger, way better. It was great. It was fantastic, but that moved Tech Tuesday up later. So, but anyway, questions. Here we go.
We ought to invite some of the local folks to the cookout.
I'll say that for later. That'll be another Tech Tuesday.
That's epic. I didn't know we was going to do a cookout.
We'll save that for later.
I I'll be putting a new barbecue grill in back in my area, though. I'll tell you that.
That's true.
Facts.
All right, we got 19 Motorsports. He says, quick tuning question. On the laptop, I can't find anywhere where it says lambda target actual lambda. Is there any way I can pull that up when working on the tables? If not, is that a feature or something that can be added in the next update of the laptop tuning software? It'd be nice to have that for the VE table.
Right. Well, lambda's great. For the tuner nerds out there, lambda's fantastic.
Yep.
Right now, our tuning software is reading gas scaling, but we are adding that kind of lambda stuff in. The actual, whether you're reading it AFR, gas target, or lambda, or what have you not. Just like whenever you go between, metric and American freedom units, and you have that selection, it'll kind of be the same business. Because we're adding more and more into that software, I'm sending as much information as suggestions are made that make the most sense, that seem to meet everyone's targets, and sending that as much as possible. We are a little on the swamp side right now. We got a lot of things going on, but I'm happy about that, because as we knock these small things off the list, well, it's just not on the list no more. Then we move on to more interesting things like adding lambda to the software. Hopefully,
Yeah, for sure. Camshaft garage. I may be overthinking this, but where do you hook the one wire for the alternator on a 1985 Chevrolet Caprice wagon LS swap jackpot system? So where do you hook the wire on the LS or the jackpot system?
Oh, it's on a jackpot? Mm-hmm. You can hook it up to the power in wire. Some of the older ECUs didn't have the resistance built in, so you might have to throw like a 470 or 560 ohm resistor in there to get the charging system to see the correct voltage, but it's not a massive deal. If you're not going to use ours, you can use there's a few out there on Amazon or whatever that already has the resistor built into it for some of the older systems. The newer ones should have that in the circuit already. So
when we get back and after this live, I can come back to this section and put a link or somewhere in here for that.
Eric Spears said, Tim looks so determined. I'm here.
He is very determined.
I am determined.
He's wearing a one-off hat.
I'm wearing. Somebody sent this in as a sample. The merch lady hated it. I love it. It's cool. So comment below if you like this. This is dope. I think the thing is fresh.
It. We have some new hat designs that I think you guys are gonna like here very soon. Let's see. DMCK. I'm trying connecting with support, but only got an AI answer. Here's the question. If I currently have a sniper throttle body or TBI with the Holley distributor and coil, can I reuse the distributor and coil with your TBI system and control timing, or do the existing wires of those plug and play with yours in any way?
Oh, I've used MSD Pro Billet. I've used the Holley brand. I've used the Holley Hall-Effects brand. I've used MSD Hall-Effects, the Hyperspark variant, and all the different ignition box combinations. I mean, it does work. So, for any of you guys that follow my personal thing, I did an S10 install. I used just what did I use in that thing? I think I used an MSD. I think I didn't use the Aces distributor because
an Aces Gambler.
No, I didn't use. I used an MSD.
Pro
right. Billet because I paid like full price for that thing back in the day, and I'm all out of 4.3 engines, and I'm like, I'm not going to waste this, and I only had one of the Aces 4.3s that I'll need for other testing later, so I was like, MSD Pro Billet, I'm selling a truck anyways, I'll just put that in there because it exorbitant to the cost.
That's also fair.
That was a solid install. That guy loves that truck, by the way. It's more consistent than his daily driver
magnetic
Camry.
2-wire.
Yeah, magnetic VR.
Wire.
Yeah, Hall effect is fine. Yeah,
call it a day.
Yeah, not too bad. If you want to elaborate on that, feel free to elaborate on that. We do read this stuff. We even read their Facebook stuff. So
also fair. Nelkinton on the wildcard / Joker tunnel ram systems is the silver nipple that comes across from the throttle body. The port that I should use for the PCV connection. I'm assuming he means what port should I use for the PVC, or man, if I could read PCV connection. I would love some more complete diagrams of the tunnel ram intakes.
So depending on the throttle body you're using, it'll have a little horn sticking out to the side. That'll be a good spot. Don't we have one over there?
Yep.
Yeah. Ben's going to go fetch one right fast. He's gophering. Remember, lift with your back and a lower upward.
Use your legs.
Use your legs.
This is one of the...
Hey. Right there. This is where you put your mail at. So
Yeah.
you get your letters in there. It's just a $1,000 mailbox. I put the PCV on here a lot, but you know, you don't have to do that. You can put the PCV in one of the ports, like back here on this one. It's on the side, right here. On a lot of the other ones, it's up underneath or on the very back.
Yeah.
So, you know, those PCVs are meant for full manifold vacuum. So if you got like a 3/8 port somewhere, you could do that. And depending on how your throttle body is styled, whether that's a good spot to put it or not. Because some of those just like vent right behind the throttle body, and they won't go recirculating back into the actual intake itself. So food for thought. Hopefully that answers. Let me burn down some of these live ones right here.
Yeah.
Let's see. Mo said he needs one of these hats. How can I get one? There's only the one. But
if you like these, yes,
hey,
we can do that.
Hey, we're taking a tally here. So let's see.
I do have Bradley. We're about to do a Joker video. Just watch the Joker video when it comes out.
We are doing the Joker video. So he's currently turning a wrench on that with a Reed right now. So they're doing that install.
Yep. It's been raining here.
Just order my PDM. Does avoid the warranty if I cut my harness? Thanks, fellows. No, it doesn't. As long as you're doing it in the spirit of putting that PDM in correctly instead of incorrectly. You put it incorrectly, not incorrectly. You know what I mean? So,
There's a difference.
As long as you're snipping out the appropriate things from the harness by the instructions. There's a very dry 1 hour video I made on this as well for that 1S10 thing, but it's just really hard to do that on the ASUS stuff because they sitting there trying to make that long of a video. Like we'll do one, but it'll be, you know what I mean? It'll be very condensed of this, that, and the other. So it's, we just have to go do one up. I want to do one on the run stand, so I'm going to do one on the run stand. We're going to video it to death. It'll be great. I got a new run stand. So let's see.
Hat need.
Yeah, see. Yeah. Aaron, hat need. That's two.
Yep.
Mark Hughes. Any update making miles per hour the default on the 5-inch screen? No update yet. That suggestion has been sent. I'm a big fan of that because I look at revs sometimes, but majority, I'm not really looking at my handheld. I just reference speed because it defaults to RPM, not MPH. Yeah. Yeah, I'll send that my weekly report again.
Yeah.
But that's just one of those small things. Just one of those small things because I'm trying to get some other. Look, I got a wild hair over here. It's like, what was that?
My hair's all whatever.
Yeah. So, that's a solid suggestion. I'll keep pushing for that because I want to see it too. I also want to see RPM and then miles per hour like on the 7-inch, but on the 5-inch, and then you can flip them and they'll just stay. That's really what I want.
Yep.
That's what I want. Maybe that's not what you want, but
I want different colors.
There's other people that agree with me somewhere.
Anyway.
Let's see. Game type. When running the Wizard, what if you don't know the fuel injector size and also the engine size, 4.8 or 5.3? Go to PSI conversions. I think it's was it PSI conversions injector sizing chart. It'll give you the part numbers of like all of the GM injectors, and you can just look at the little thing on the side. So there's a few of those that are tricky depending on the year. Like if you have a 2000, 2001, or 1999 or something like that, it'll give you like on a truck motor. It'll tell you like one part number, but you have to know what year it is to verify what the flow rate is. That's the biggest thing. But I think it's PSI conversions injector sizing chart. Just check that thing out. They have all of it listed. I've actually screenshotted that. We added it to our help document here internal just for the customer service folks. Goodness.
No. And if you're using TBI, they should already be preset, so you shouldn't have to worry about that too.
Well, if they're TBI, but this dude's running on this guy's running on like a 4.853 truck motor.
Oh, that's there too. Sorry.
Normally they'll end up being like 21 pounds unless it's a flex fuel motor, and then they're a little bit bigger. Thereabouts. Hope that helps.
Yes.
Dwayne Pettis. I haven't seen you all week.
I saw him at the show.
I was there. Yeah, he come in on his bike.
Shoot, Projects
afternoon,
incoming.
sir. Afternoon to you as well, sir. William Berg, Hey, Aces in House. Love your products. Keep up the great products. We are trying every day.
We're doing something like that.
Yes, I agree with that statement. Scott Franks, are there any instructions for the jackpot top-end kit with cast manifold and valve covers? For the actual like jackpot itself, yeah, and there's not really any kind of instruction manual for putting the stuff together, like the intake and putting valve covers on. It's not really, we don't really see a need for that. I mean, if it's something that the people really, really want, then we can start to kind of make a good brief over of little things to watch for and whatnot, and like some torque specs, like 48 inch-pounds or what have you not. Yeah. Team Heavy Chevy 1. Tim's hat and shirt are on point. Thanks.
3.
Shop shirt right here. We don't sell them yet. This is just an internal thing, but there's
also will do.
Yeah, this is Dickies brand, I think. But I mean, we'll
have those soon.
This thing's been on fire before, and it's still here. I'm wearing it. This is one of the cleaner ones I have, as you can imagine. Because I'm a heavy guy, and I grind this thing into pavement. Even though I do nerd stuff, I physically turn a wrench still as well, from time to time.
Just every weekend.
Especially when I can get away with it. If I get caught doing that, it's a whole thing, because I got people for that. Samuel Grindstaff. We got 2 questions. Anything special to wire up a 2-pin LS alternator? And the other question is, where can I power up the V main? What can I power up with the V main wire? V main wire, I would use it as an auxiliary trigger for relays. So if you have some relays you want to switch on when you turn the key on or turn the system on, I would use them to trigger that. They are very low amperage, and the thing is, like, if you put too much on it, it draws power away from the system and can cause some low voltage problems that are kind of hard to explain. But it puts extra stress on the system, or if it's got constant power all the time, it's not really good for it either. But that's V main stuff. For the 2-pin LS alternator, you gotta be careful. There's a couple of different 2-pin alternators out there. There's some that just they kind of got a field wire, one for a charging system, and the other ones are pulse width modulated. So you got to really identify what that is. Some of them they just kind of pair the wires together and run 12 volts to them. But one may be a single wire 12 volt in, maybe 2 wires, and some are PWM. Of course, some people that are doing the PWM ones are forcing it to 100%, which is creating other charging problems. But identify which one you got, and you should be able to pull a schematic so you see exactly like, hey, it's just this 12-volt signal from the ECU controlling it. But if it's PWM, that's a little bit different.
Yeah.
We don't have a method for PWM right now. I'd switch them all over to just a one-wire alternator. I'm lazy. I just don't want to fool with extra stuff. And I know it's a couple $100 extra money, but that's where you get one that has got 140 amps, single wire, nothing crazy.
Yeah.
I'm looking for the future of what I'm putting on there.
Sweet.
Let's see.
Bowtie Marco.
Plan on buying the Jackpot LS top-end kit. Can I use a factory-style truck injectors over the Aces injectors? Not quite. You can use LS3 style injectors. The truck injectors are generally tall. So our injectors and rails, our fuel rails and intakes, they accept EV1 and EV6 Pico injectors, the short body injectors. That's what goes in there, like the normal stuff you see in like a 6.2 Camaro or something like that style injector. And we don't do Multec 2 or anything like that, or Mini 14.
I will say, Multec may be an option in the future.
Oh, possibly.
I've
seen
the adapter harness. So,
yeah.
But we'll see.
Let's see. Tim, what does the blue light do on a quick draw indicate? Should it be on all the times? The blue light, depending on which one you're talking about, could just be the communication light. So when it's communicating via CAN or giving speed signal, it may flicker and flash if you got the key on. But if it's turned off, it shouldn't be on all the time. No. Lucky for you, when Bradley gets done with that Joker system on that truck, I'm going to be doing a whole bunch of quick draw stuff. Because we don't have a whole lot, we don't have adequate amounts of information, tech videos, and whatnot on there. We got the system, we got it running, plug them in, we've all used them and everything, but I feel like I need to circle back around and go through all the extra options and adjustments for the quick draw. How to get smoother shifts and how's it really working type stuff. But yeah, and I'll explain the lights in the video. I'll make sure to explain the lights in the video. Let's see, game type. Okay, thanks, but they're not OEM, but I'll check the part number. Okay. Yeah. No worries. He's talking about the fuel injector for the flow rate.
Sweet. Can I get back? Can we? I mean,
we can.
Maybe we'll jump back and forth. I don't know.
Jeffrey agrees with me about the RPM versus miles per hour. So let's go ahead. Let's get it. Let's get after it, man.
I bought the Killshot 2 Master Kit with the this is Beast Slayer. Awesome name. 1990. Bought the Killshot 2 Master Kit with the inline fuel pump. It came with a fuel pressure regulator as well. So my question is, do I need to run it also, or is the we did this at Pro Touring, two-sided. It's got an internal fuel pressure sensor, not a fuel pressure regulator.
Facts.
So, let's see.
I'm not a big fan of the internal fuel pressure regulators on throttle bodies. They clog up so easy because they're like a small screen situation, and they're actually kind of hard to get sometimes when they fail. So I really want to do my part and try to stay away from that. It's convenient. It's just not the best thing.
MGP Custom says, "What's up, guys? I bought a Killshot, the whole kit with the 7-inch screen and Quick Draw. My question is, what do I need to run the Quick Draw as a standalone? A handheld?
Yeah. If you want to run it as handheld, it's a standalone, you just need a handheld.
Yep.
At a minimum, handheld just to set the thing up. Justin Richardson stalking us. You can see right here. Can you include a pigtail for the Gambler distributor and make the harness accept it natively? That has already been sent and suggested, and they're not opposed to that kind of thing because why not add that option for people that want to use that Gambler distributor? Because I'm a big fan. I just like the fact that my reasoning behind it, I buy one distributor. I'll put it in the frame here. One distributor. I'm buying a system. I buy a Killshot 2 and I put it on there. And I know my hot rod has got a future plan for something spicier. I'm going to do, 3/4 race cam. I'm going to jump a Coke can in a parking lot. Yeah. And I want to go multi-port. That distributor, it means I don't have to buy another distributor. And I save a few $100s on the long run. And that Hall effect works with just about everything. Yep. So.
And it has a clean signal.
Even other systems. Because why not, right? But it's a clean, nice digital signal. I'm a big fan of that stuff. But, it's just my preferences.
Yep.
I just like to save money.
Live better, Walmart.
Yeah.
Sorry. Anyway. Adrenaline channel 7049. Make a multi-port and intake for a kit for the GM 4.2 straight 6 engine is the next big swap, and the market is sleeping on them.
Yes, my Atlas brethren out there in the world, the 4.2 American 2JZ motor is hot. I got a 5-cylinder. I'm missing a whole cylinder. But I would like to see a future, because I know what the reluctor is on utilizing such a thing like a jackpot into that kind of configuration, because the 4.2, if y'all don't know, is an amazing engine. It's great. And they sound great under boost.
I was unaware of that.
Oh, it's a great motor. You can get them into Trailblazers.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough. Don Daughter says, are the factory GM sensors more reliable than aftermarket sensors?
When it comes to cam and crank, yeah. Because a lot of the aftermarket sensors all come out of the same place.
Yeah.
And just like that, if you squint your eyes hard enough whenever you read AEC Delco, it could say ACE's fuel injection. Because there's only so many manufacturers out there in the world.
No, it's true.
We just are selective of top tier stuff, which is going into an automotive category, which is a whole lot to do with other things that we got going on when it comes to
that was really good.
Our automotive stuff.
That was off the cuff. That was not even prepared.
They think I script this stuff, man. The people don't know that I do all this stuff in one take.
It is also true. It's very
You had
impressive.
me do one thing in a second take, and then it was usually like, nah, it's the first one.
Yeah, we'll
the
just
first
use
one's
the
the
first
first one. Yeah. So I want to get ones from the live here.
Oh yes, let's keep
Jeffrey, on a Killshot, where do I need to connect the AC wire to? The AC in wire is going to be 12-volt signal from your AC coming on. I like hooking them to the switch before, that way the compressor doesn't cycle on and off a whole bunch. That way when your AC is on, You can use the rev or AC fan wire to ground trigger a relay to turn on a third fan. If you're real tricky, you can do it like a transcoiler, put a temp switch in and do this, that, and the other. That way when your trans gets hot, you can do that too, but that's a whole different subject. But yeah, the AC in is a 12-volt in trigger, and then the rev or AC fan wire is a ground trigger. Hope that helps. Eddie said yes.
Eddie says yes. Bryant Stillwell says Hall effect everything. Definitely make High Roller Pro compatible with boost, map sensors, and build an adjustable boost retard curve. This would make myself and some boosted fellows I know very happy.
Yeah, we're going to be beating that boosted stuff up to death. We're going to really get after it on that because there's, we made it compatible, but we haven't really done like a whole lot of really diving into the technology. So later in this year, we're going to be probably pushing, reallocating a few of the engineers into boost control and different various things like that, just to, help please that corner of the market. And, hopefully it's about the time I get done saving up cash for my next big turbo kit on my 1-ton project. Ooh, 1 ton.
This is a big one. Justin,
is it now?
Fair enough. Hi guys, been steadily watching y'all's videos. Ordered your Killshot unit. I also have an MSD6AL with a billet distributor and blue coil. Build is a 10-1 LA318.
Oh, Mopar guy.
Mopar guy, definitely. I don't know what the 10-1 is.
10 to 1.
10 to 1. Oh,
compression ratio.
10 to 1.
So I wrote this document.
Yeah. Now that you say 10-1, that makes sense. Ported with Magnum heads, springs, solid lifters.
Magnum heads on an LA.
Let's see.
Okay.
Intended to use the MSD for timing control. It has its own 4-bar map sensor. I'm trying to summarize because it's a very long question. How should I plumb the 2 units map sensors? And with the MSD, I'm locking the timing at my total timing and using the MSD to do the start retard along with all of the other retarding. Will this affect the kill shot since I will be locking it out well above the said 15 degrees? Thanks for all your helpful.
If you're sending tack signal from your MSD that's already got everything set up for it, you're just sending tack out and it just goes into the kill shot, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just going to go into your kill shot into the tack in wire, set it as CDI, which is square 12-volt wave, ready for a CDI box. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not really going to mess with the timing stuff on that. You can just lock the timing in the kill shot itself, and because you're just going to be controlling all the fuel side on that. And if you're going to be running boost, you want to get into the tuning software and then scale the table appropriately because it has an internal 3-bar map sensor. That's it. That's really it. Let your ignition box do its ignition box things. If it's got a map sensor, don't tie those together, but you can put them in the same intake plenum because the throttle body already has one in. I'm a big fan of the 3-bar remote stuff. So if that one, if I think of the right one, it already has it internal, so you just kind of put the vacuum tube in there. But, yeah, that's my take on that. Hopefully that answers it.
Tim, what's your YouTube channel? Daniel Ortega.
Ace's Fuel Injection. Oh, like my
Action Vulture is his.
That's my personal. That's where I do other stuff. It's very boring and very dry, but okay. But
and then OE3129 says, please tell us BBF guys that you're doing a Joker system for it.
For big block Ford.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, look into that. We're doing Mopar stuff right now, so
it's true.
I want to do a big block Ford. There's a 460 sitting at the shop in this massive slab of a Lincoln. That would be awesome.
Yep.
I'll catch one of these over here. Eddie said, can you tell me how to wire the fuel gauge to work without ECU on my 98 Dilly? So you got rid of your VCM, man? Kind of hard to do because that instrument cluster kind of needs the VCM a little bit. Hopefully they'll finish the software patch for the fuel level sensor soon. I'd love to make a video about that. You see, it's way up there. That one,
Oh,
right there.
it's all the way up
way
there.
Up there.
Sorry. Whoops. Sorry. I was trying to find it. I couldn't find it.
Yeah, Mark Hughes, he at Jeff, connect the AC wire to clutch wire and send signal to ECU for the idle up. Yeah, it will. You can also do it off the switch itself. That way, in case the compressor's cycling, it's doing weird stuff. But that's all good. Eddie said yes.
With 4 thumbs up.
Smithworks.
I love it.
If I'm having to run a carb spacer with a Killshot, would the theory of operation still apply the same as a carburetor? And if not, would it be recommended? How would it affect my map reading? And actually, it'll smooth out your map reading if you're using a spacer, weirdly enough. The big thing is when you're dealing with stuff like fluid dynamics and Bernoulli's principle, when it comes into any kind of inertial supercharging with higher velocity intake, that helps out on carburetors. It helps out on throttle bodies, but not the same way as it does on carburetors because there's no Venturi effect when it comes to that throttle body itself. But it does weirdly enough drop temperature in the same way because it is, you're trying to push a mass through a thing.
You just spoke a different language there for a second. It was like back to chemistry. That's what I was just hearing.
No. I'm just talking through my buck teeth.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. Google Venturi effect. Whatever. Joe Cool. Fantastic name. How do you guys get these names? All of the ones are taken. I see you've mentioned some other ignition systems working with the Aces Killshot. Do you know if the Pentronics distributor system will work with the Killshot? Love me some Tech Tuesday. Joe Cool, I would say negative Ghost Rider.
I say yes.
I say negative Ghost Rider. But
Pentronics Igniter 2 is like the best one to work with our system if you're going to run one. The Igniter 2. Igniter 1, if you leave the key on, it'll smoke the coil. Igniter 3 is like a multi-spark variant that does all kinds of goofy stuff. Pentronics Igniter 2, it's the money. That's actually what we're using on that big block Lincoln because we don't offer a distributor for that Lincoln. Right. So we're using that swap ignition, Igniter 2 module. Seems to work pretty good. We just run it coil negative and it runs like a dream. We used to have a headache with those back in the day, but we actually redesigned some circuitry to work better. And that was at the same time we made it more HEI compatible, also turned into worked better with coil negative in a few different ways.
Sure. If you had to pick, if you were going to, if you couldn't use Aces, which I would obviously recommend that you use our ignition setup, what would you build? What would you use? You couldn't use Aces.
I'd just go with an HEI. I can adjust an HEI and make a pretty good thing. If I wasn't going to do that and I had to pick another brand,
because I know, not everyone.
Third generation MSD 6 box.
Cost wise, yeah.
Because those are pretty basic. You can't use a second generation. You can't get rid of the rev limiter verification.
Yep.
So that's it. I'm cheap. I'll go with the cheapest thing possible. I am.
If it works, it works.
Cost-effective king over here.
Yeah.
Because I'm just I don't want to spend, even with my employee discount, money on a coil. Oh, HEI, I got one in the barn. I'll stick it in my truck and drive it around for 10,000 miles. But then, then it's a disservice by not actually doing a bunch of really interesting other stuff. So
sure.
All right, let's get to some of these. You want to do one?
Sure. Mark Hughes, we could use a long single harness that we can unplug the oil pressure sensor and plug in a fuel pressure sensor when needed for the Killshot so that we can switch between as needed. And we've talked about this.
You can do that. You just can't plug them in at the same time right now because there's only one sensor input. But yeah, you can do
that. With the Killshot 2, with the internal FPS, will there be a point where you can run oil pressure and fuel pressure at the same time?
Not currently.
Not current. I know
they're tied together. It's on the same sensor wire. So if you do that, it really makes it a headache.
Well, even if, that's fair.
Because it's inside the throttle body. I'll put my hand over here in frame. So it's inside of the throttle body over here, right? And then it's tied together in the harness over there. So you can have one plugged in, but you can't plug the other one in. That's a 2-generation harness. So it does the first gen and the second gen kill shots.
That's fair.
As it goes. Dwayne Pettis, Malibu runs on at times when you shut it off. Timing or fuel or both. Also stalls on a long downhill coast. Jackpot Pro on a 6.0. Runs on. Interesting.
Is that Jackpot Pro on a 6.0?
So it stalls when you're cruising, when you're going down a hill real good. I would look at your fuel table to see what that fuel's looking like in the fuel table, because it could be too light and just allowing it just go below threshold and saying, nah, I'm good. Because I had that on, I think it was a Blazer. You do a long coast and kind of die, and actually I went into the table, data logged it, and realized the fact that it was trying to add a bunch of fuel that it really wanted, and I put it back in there. But also I was running it with like a deceleration fuel cutoff active, so it was going super lean. But it wasn't like, it'd get to minimum injector, but I turned that off, which helped a bunch, and then I added some fuel to that area of the table, and it seemed to help out a bunch. You can also get in there and mess with the follow timing in the tuning software as well. If your fuel is good, check to see if your timing just isn't too low towards just allowing it to kind of peter out a little bit.
Sweet. If
that helps.
How do I get stuck with some of these names? Adolf. Oh. Adolfo?
Sweet.
We'll call it. Bought the Killshot 2. Let's go. We'll be installing it on a Ford 300. Also, let's go.
Yeah.
And has the stock distributor. Will this work, or will I have to get a new distributor?
Coil negative. You'll be all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not a big deal. Also,
if you want timing control, you would want to have a different distributor, but
yeah, our guys over at DFW Speed Syndicate, they actually make a distributor. Yep. We don't make the distributor yet.
Yep.
But we're kind of looking into market volume.
Yep.
So those cats over there, they got their own distributor that they can use with timing control. It's actually great. Good, really knowledgeable. They're actually authorized tuners with us and such. Big shout out to DFW Speed Syndicate.
They're fantastic. Mark Hughes, always teasing us the fuel level sensor.
How do you think I feel? I don't know how much gas my truck's got in it.
No, it's true.
No, it's there. It's just not there yet. We've reallocated our engineering department, our whole engineering department, into other interesting ventures. But this is I can't remember.
It will happen.
I can't. We tied him up for like 6 months. We tied him up for like 6 months on this one project, and it's a doozy. Yeah. But you know,
it will happen.
They don't want me to write code. I can.
That's also fair.
Not gonna.
It just takes a lot of time.
Let's see. Davy Farms. Hello.
Davy Farms.
Hello. Schönen Tag.
Hello. No, we're not doing this. Wie geht es dir? Entschuldigung, I think is. Anyway, it's whatever. Anyway.
Genau.
I got a weird problem with my fuel injection.
He lived in Prague. I lived in Germany.
92 Ford Ranger. Yeah, but that's Czech. It's not German.
It's Czech Republic. Same.
That will piss people off.
You'll be all right.
Okay.
Same. If you live there, you know.
Yeah.
But the KFC at the border is fire. You can't tell me it's not. Anyways.
What fuel injection? Our fuel injection?
Oh.
Fuel injection.
I got a weird problem with my fuel injection on my 92 Ford. Which one you got?
Tell us.
Which one you got?
Dying.
Smithworks. Thanks for the help at Pro Touring Truck Shootout, Tim. Running much smoother now. I did something.
You did a couple things.
I really enjoyed it. I love being at a show. I love the interactions. Truck. Well, the Jeep was
T10.
The Jeep I had a great time with because it's one of those things that wasn't like on the main stage and all that, but it was an opportunity for me to kick a laptop open.
He just came to hang out, which you all should do. We're going to Bowtie Nationals this weekend. Same place.
Same.
Beach Bend, Kentucky. Want to see there. Do it.
But it's I like the opportunity. If you guys have seen me at a show, you know that don't tempt me with a good time of saying, hey, tell me more about your tuning software. Because I will.
Especially shows like that where we're outside and you can just
plug it in.
Drive right up to the thing.
I ain't scared of it. I'm not going to tune your vehicle, but I'll teach you more methods on approaching tuning and what you're looking for and all that stuff. There is a bit of liability in that. That's why you can only do so much.
Yeah. facts.
Hey. Davey Farm said it's a 4-liter V6.
V6. But what's the fuel injection?
Oh,
what
yeah.
Do you have?
Is it a factory? Is it us?
Is it a jackpot system?
4-liter V6. I think he's got a cool kill shot on it. We'll see. We'll see.
Or Deuce's Wild?
That could be. Oh, man. I'll tell you what. A 4-liter V6 would be excellent with the Deuce's Wild, I think. You'd get some real good torque.
Yeah. If you're asking, then definitely.
Joe Cool, good to know. You guys are awesome. Dwayne Pettis, cool. Thanks. I don't think I've missed anything yet. I don't think I missed anybody's yet.
No. Mine would load.
Benjamin's looking up.
I switched to the Pro Touring video.
Smithworks, on the second version, now it looks more like a rolling hill, still being daily driven. Yeah, I think it was talking about the fact that it's going to look a little weird with a nice big smooth hill in the middle of it. Because it's just the tires, the gear, the the Jeepliness of it.
Data Channel says also windshield vinyls for
I saw a sample.
We're making those.
We ordered a sample from another person and was checking it out, and it's like, man, that'll be all right.
We can do that.
I think it'll be all right. I put it on my van. Oh, no, Cousin Eddie would need one.
Also facts.
That thing gets a lot of attention.
When people ask me what about the longevity of these systems, I talk about the Deuce's Wild on the Stanky Benz, the Mercedes that has no business having a Deuce's Wild on it.
That thing is great.
And
I did a short video on the
RV.
ignition box for that Stanky Benz of setting it up at 40 degrees and all that stuff.
And then there's your Tahoe.
Yeah, my Tahoe's had every system on it except a jackpot so far. The camper, Cousin Eddie, the camper, it's almost at 40,000 miles now. Almost.
Nuff said. Nuff. N-U-F-F. Jeep Bum said to us while we were there, wish I would have known about this. I'm just a couple of hours away. How? No, but for real. Come see us again this weekend.
Come see him.
We'll be there. He won't be there this time.
There'll be a dude named Joseph there. You guys should bombard him with crazy tech questions.
One of our technicians.
Really, I want to hear about him sweating a little bit because he's a phone tech guy.
It'll be okay. It'll be good. They
might
be listening to this.
He works in my department, but not yet, or something. I don't know. It's kind of the same thing. Like there's R&D and there's tech, and it's kind of a blend of tech, R&D, and customer service.
Phone techs,
you know what I mean?
Techs. So there's the ones that are talking to you every day, and then there's the ones that are either working on new stuff, RMAs.
Yeah, like my department, we don't really get on the phone much unless we're having to ask some questions to somebody. It's just testing, developing, braking, sending stuff in and out, all that stuff.
Making videos.
Lots of making videos.
We do that.
Then there's the tech side of it all, which is more of a blend of customer service, which, I feed them a lot of information, answer questions on a regular basis, and so on and so forth. And then, they're also a blend of customer service. So they're like a middle point.
I didn't see this yet. Ace's logo black with a white shifter ball.
Yeah, you didn't.
That would be awesome. I didn't even think about what you can put on a shifter. We could do all kinds of stuff with that, especially with our branding. Oh, man, that would be sick. Yeah. That is a great idea.
Yeah.
Dat Channel 1.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, I like the shift ball idea. It'll be cool.
Back to live
stream. We don't have to go back to the live stream, and we can answer other questions.
No, we got to go back.
We are going to go back to the live stream. We got 5 questions in finally. There is a bit of a lag between me doing a thing, Ben doing a thing, and when the questions.
That's how live stream.
It's around 30 seconds.
Camshaft Garage just got the jackpot about a month ago. I'm assuming it's the newest system. Thanks for answering my question.
Yeah, we touched on all those, dude.
Yep.
So the neat thing, the part number on the back of the ECUs and handhelds are actually hexadecimal numbers, so they're paired. So 14 means 20.
What?
Yeah, because there's a number on the back of it that says PN, which is part number. That's actually a manufacturing date code in hexadecimal.
Oh.
So 14 actually means 20 in hex, and then so the first two would be 20, and then the next two would be what?
day
the rest of it.
or month or
no, it'd be
whatever it is?
2024. So.
Oh, the year.
Right.
Okay. Sweet.
It's like 14, 19, 08, 11 would be 2024 August 11th.
I'm not.
What have you not?
Fluent in hexadecimal code.
Whatever.
But
I made a document about that.
I can figure it out.
I made a document about that.
Prototech, Justin Richardson. We need more common GM map sensor configurations and drop downs, or the ability to go to custom and plug in KPA and offset values.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, we did add some more common map sensors in there and throttle bodies, but you'll be seeing that in a future version.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like everything turns into a future version. The only reason it is people keep making these suggestions, so we're adding this to the list of stuff to do.
Yep.
Prototech always got solid questions. This guy does good, proper tuning, has a nice outfit, and he's very professional.
Yes.
But don't bring anything that leaks oil to his dyno.
I think the video of him with the C10 is on TikTok only now, but it should be on other things very soon.
That was a nice truck, and it looked cool in there too. I know he had fun. He had to have fun doing that.
It was awesome. I got to hang out at his shop. First Aces employee to ever go there.
That's true.
So
I drive by his house every week, but I never stop in. It's an hour out of my way. Sorry, Justin.
Don't listen to him, Justin. Dave E. Farm says, do you guys make fuel pumps for the Ford Rangers?
Depending on what year, but
for them?
Not really for them. We make
fuel pumps.
We make inline ones. We make tank conversion pumps, so you can you can modify your tank and use one of our in-tank pre-regulated conversion pump setups,
or an inline, or the
also another company
center.
like Tanks Inc. or something like that. They may make a conversion for that particular one, depending on the year. But there's a few different conversion options out there. That just happens that they make the most.
Yep.
Actually, I think they're owned by a competitor, but whatever.
Word. VE tables to match. Learn tables resolution, please. VE tables to match.
Yeah, the VE table has lower resolution than learning table. That is working. That's going to be a jackpot thing. We're cramming in a nastier processor with a bit more RAM in there, so it doesn't weight everything down, so we can run a bigger table or 2 or 10 with a few more options and things, and a couple more wires that do different things.
Yep. Dwayne is still waiting on email from me on the jackpot TBI, but with a Killshot 2 on it.
That's all right, Dwayne. I'll tell him. Hey, Ben. Dwayne's waiting on the email.
Man,
from me, bro.
I wonder why that.
I'll text him here in a bit. Brian Hahn, speaking of videos, when will the second advanced tuning video be out?
Also facts.
Well, I'm going to be doing that on my Tahoe. I filmed it twice.
He's been gone. He just came back from Michigan, so
I've been to Michigan for a minute, and I had a show, and I'll be off the rest of this week too. But even then, I'll still film it on my day off. I don't mind because I'll be at home. I filmed it. I broke my truck and fixed my truck, and then started filming again. Broke my truck. Now I fixed my truck. Now I got to film it again. And I got an hour's worth of amazing videos of me just actually breaking my truck. Electrical
which
problem.
We could show.
Had a flat tire. Fixed a flat tire. Destroyed a wheel hub assembly launching the thing. I mean, it let the beans and magic smoke out of that thing. It sounded like nickels in a blender. And thanks to the nice people at AutoZone, I used their parking lot to change that.
Yep. As soon as possible is the answer to that question.
No, I want to have it. I want to have it to Ben within the next week, because it's going to be focusing on fuel and adjusting the fuel table and what the learning table is telling you and what the data logging is telling you and some of the startup parameters, and that's what that video is going to be on. Then the next one's going to be a little bit more in depth into that and started into getting the timing correct for what motor you're working with and some of those D-cell values and then we're going to get into like a more advanced variant, which is going to be a whole lot of like proportional integral values with the IAC and various things like that. If that helps.
It'll be small. It's all
It's all
focus on
TBI.
small stuff, easy, basic adjustments, and then after you go from there, it goes to, hey, we're on a dyno, actually.
Yeah, I've had that Tahoe on a dyno. It makes 161 horsepower. There's nothing I could do about it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all it made. But it made 248 pounds of torque. Let's see.
I've got JC Meyer 5 says Killshot 2 manual mentioned TPS output to control a transmission controller.
Yeah.
And it never speaks of it again.
It's just an output wire. Whatever your TPS is doing, it's just putting out that much voltage so that if you needed a TPS signal wire input to an outside of ACE's trans controller or anything else like a nitrous controller, there's your wire. That was a big thing. A lot of folks asked for that, and it made the most sense and was in a position that we could make it happen very, very quickly because it's not really a lot of code. We don't really have to change much. We just reassigned a wire, change a bit of code, and poof, there it is. I did put an O-scope up on that the other day, so it does sweep through the range. Pretty nice.
Yeah.
I just didn't mess with it, really. I mean, I wanted to hook a scope up to it and give it a bit of a test, and I'm like, yep, I'm just watching it doing its thing.
Word. B Hall 356, Brian. Will the EGT CAN module be compatible with the Joker system, or will I need to order it as a standalone? Probably standalone, I think, right now.
Well, you can do it as an add-on because you're just going to have to go into the handheld and select a different system. I'll do it as a standalone anyways, just to have the extra screen so you can always leave
that's also
those
fair.
up. Now, later when we add in to be able to integrate those values into the Joker for data logging and other purposes, that'll be a whole different thing for data logging. But honestly, I'd rather use them standalone and just have them live all the time. That way, I can see everything that's happening on one handheld and what my EGTs are doing on the other. It is extra cost, but honestly, you got $30,000 in a motor. What's a couple $100?
Yeah. Facts. JC Meyer again says, is launch control and two-step rev limiter on the to-do list for the Killshot 2?
That'd be Royal Flush. Or if you're running an ignition box, those are part of the CD box system because of how we control spark. So that's the ones with an integrated CDI box will have the launch control stuff.
I was just thinking of
the max rev limiter is going to be what it is, but those allow you to control different aspects of it way better and more accurately.
Rocco Sholey 165. I've recently had a Blackjack Pro ignition coil short out internally and back feed into the Killshot ECU. Is there anything I could put in line with the coil, like a diode, to prevent this from killing the ECU?
Oh, that's peculiar.
What?
Got a coil gone bad.
That's not normal.
I'd like to see that.
Just plugged in.
Physically see that.
And it shorted out.
So if you're already in for an RMA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you haven't done that or called in for an RMA or request on that, then absolutely.
That's something I really want to see.
Should do that.
Because that's not a normal thing. Normally, if somebody's doing that, it's because they hooked the V-main up to something that really loaded up the system and then overstrained the it'll smoke the handheld and then it'll start melting the coil. I've seen that a few times.
I have seen that too. I've seen the melted
but
coils.
I'm not just if you just got one hooked up as it should be, I've never seen the coil actually destroy itself.
Facts.
Y'all planning to be at any drag and drive events this summer?
Possibly. Hot Rod Power Tour, we may stop at a couple, and then we have Six Smokies.
Are you doing Hot Rod Power Tour?
Right now, it's me and somebody else, but we'll see how that goes. We're going to go for the full week, but then that's just a long week. But we've never done a Hot Rod Power Tour, so we want to at least,
Bring
represent you guys while we're there.
Plenty of water.
And then also what we are doing the whole way is Six Smokies. And that goes from Huntsville to Nashville to Crossville to Knoxville to Chattanooga, right here. And then back to Huntsville. So that is in October, though, so it's not the summer. yeah, stay on the lookout for that.
Interesting.
And Work to Places Flex Fit hats, also doing that. No, that's not a flex.
I know, man. I just like it. It's got a vibe. But no, the I saw a few samples of Flex Fit. Didn't Bradley have one?
Mm-hmm.
He got one of the new ones. I didn't get one.
You'll see it soon.
No, we put a new logo on there. It's clean. It's clean. I like it a lot. I'll probably have one of those. I don't know what to do with this hat yet, even though it's really cool, but we'll see. Drag and drive events. I'd be interested. We have some customers that are doing these drag and drive events for sure. Yep, Scott Franks. Definitely down for the Flex Fit hats. Yeah. Well, the best part about the Flex Fit hats is like they don't dig in like really weird places, and you can wash them a little easier.
Mm-hmm. Buck Build says, any chance we get the Lambda readout to show 2 decimal places in the next update?
I'm glad you mentioned that. That's something actually on that same list of can we add this into the software is I want to see 2 or 3 digits passed. That's part of my constantly, adding this information because I anything I mention even up to the upper engineering level, I'm constantly adding more to the list and sending and adding more to the list and sending. And some of these hit. Some of them are easy, some are not. Boosted Chevy, how can I go about getting a sponsorship? There's a bit of form to fill out on the Aces website. I think it's somewhere at the bottom, isn't it?
Yeah. So you're going to do 2 things. One, you can fill something out on our website, like Tim's saying at the bottom. The best option to do is sending an email to marketing@acesefi.com. And I'm just going to take a moment to say, if you send an email that says, please sponsor me, you're going to get denied. I'm going to just go ahead and say that. But if you send in a request that we can actually review and look at and those kinds of things, we'd be happy to look into it and see if there's anything that we can do to help support you. If we can pursue a partnership or a sponsorship and those kinds of things. But we do get requests every day, all the time.
Yeah.
And what I can say is the more thought and time that you put into it, the more thought and time that we're going to put into it as well. And we ask that as well, just because we want to know what you're doing, if we can see pictures of it and we can see like what's going on, social media presence and all those things, that's great. So if you have something like that you're interested in, yes, go to our website, fill out the form there if you'd like, and also send a deck, if you know what that is, to or just like a email explaining what you got, what's going on, to marketing@acesefi.com. And I don't mean to be harsh, but we do get messages every day about it, and it's usually along those lines of, I'm ready for my sponsorship now.
Yeah, well, I've read a few of those too. There's a few that are just like, man, this, it's a great proposal, and it's like they're going in the right direction. And there's some that are just like, just about nearly angry. It's weird.
Yep.
Like, you will do this. I'm like, no.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I get it.
Pitch us a good idea. See what we got going on. See what you got going on. Let's talk about it for a second. Yeah. And worst case is you get a nah. Best case is it's something we can do with you.
Yeah.
Even if it's like, some of those are like, they can even just like net a discount too. Mm-hmm. So that's not bad.
Yeah. We love supporting racers. We love supporting engine builders. We just want to know what you're doing. And beyond that, we'll let our ownership decide, because they actually decide it for every high roller crew member we add.
Yeah.
To approve it. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's my soapbox speech. But we do want to see what you guys have going on. We really do. So, yeah, we're at an hour, Tim.
Oh.
So.
Yeah, we're at an hour.
But
if we didn't get to your question, my sincerest apologies. And
I tried to run through these as best I could. If we didn't, I'm so sorry.
I'm happy we actually got the live ones this time.
Yeah.
Last time we got about half them things, and then we had to circle back around and make a whole. It just it's like a backlog. We don't want to leave people hanging or unanswered to feel like we're ignoring you by any means. We want to do the best we can to good, bad, or in between, do the best we can for you.
Yep. Yeah. Guys, thank you so much for watching this live episode of Tech Tuesday and joining us. I know it was kind of, we posted about it this morning.
It's live. It's 30 seconds old by the time you get it, apparently.
Exactly.
That's about what I'm seeing.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
No, but guys, seriously, thank you for watching this episode. Tim, thank you for coming down here to the studio to do it with me. Thanks for wearing the one-off hat, and now everybody's going to want the one-off hat.
Man, look at this thing. Shit is clean.
Guys, if you have more questions,
bingo hall later.
If you have more questions about ACES fuel injection or EFI in general, leave a comment below once this live finishes up, and we'd be happy to get to it in the next Tech Tuesday video. I will go back and see if we missed anybody, and I will do my best to make sure we have you ready to go at the beginning of the next Tech Tuesday. But yeah, until next time, guys, we'll see you all in the next video.
Yeah.
Bye for now.
Who wants to see me do a live install?
No.
Ha-ha.
Okay.
I don't know. Just let me know.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys. Wowzers.